Yeah, you take it for what it is. You just don't want to spend a lot of time in it. Whether it's a loss or a win, you can't. It'll have really a clear. I don't believe in momentum, so it'll have no effect what happens when that puck drops, as long as you don't allow it to.
We'll go right side, front row.
Paul, I know everyone's players are kind of dealing with injuries, banged up, all that. I'm curious, Matthew Tkachuk, what have you seen out of his game, playing through sort of everything over the second half of the season, and just still being able to produce while doing that?
Yeah, I thought his last game was his best game of the playoffs. He moved right. He came in, I think he played 12 minutes as the game one in the Tampa series, and it took him a while to build out. The speed of the Carolina series was probably a really, really good thing. Some of these injuries, I'm sure they're dealing with it. You can't condition them and rehab them at the same time. They need some time, and he was out for such a very long time that I would say the last month, but certainly the last 3 weeks, he's back to form now. And then everybody manages the small things.
Left side, second row.
Paul, Carter Verhaeghe was just saying that during the Vegas run, that season, that postseason, that one of the biggest areas that was a struggle for this team was discipline after the whistles, and that does seem to be one of your biggest areas of growth the last couple of years. Do you agree with that? And how frustrating is that for other teams when they see you just constantly skating away from cross checks and punches and slashes, et cetera?
Yeah, it was a lesson learned for sure, and it wasn't the driver of the series loss, but it was an opportunity. These are heated games. It's difficult for everybody, especially if you only get to see it once, or you are kind of at the mercy of whatever replays you get to see. You don't see the amount of stuff that goes on, and that's not just this series. It's every series that there's a lot of stuff going on. They just can't react to it because it's part of the price of it. You've got to. We play a fairly physical game, so there's just a lot of contact, and you can't react to it. So it was, I think, a really important part for us last year. You just you take a look at Matthews Tkachuk's penalty line graph of his penalty, and there's a significant drop after his first 6 months here, with the exception of whenever he and Brady play against each other. Then there's this one-game spike.
Right side, front row.
Paul, you were talking about yesterday about the schedule you run to keep the team in rhythm.
Yep.
When you have the kind of depth that you have up front and game breakers up and down the lineup, how do you go about finding the ice time, the game situations to keep all those game breakers in their individual rhythm?
Yeah, I've been here 3 years. I have not once had a player come in and talk to me about his ice time, not once. And there's good reason for it, because I can make a fairly good argument that if I play you with somebody, I'm playing you with a pretty good player. So, yeah, the rhythm, what happens is more from me. I think you got to constantly learn. I thought in Game 3 of the Tampa series, I chased a match too hard, and then learn trust your players. Especially important in this series. I mean, the two, they've got such good speed and offensive talent up front that you can't chase the match in this, because you're just not going to get it. And then your rhythm is broken on your bench. So you just have to trust your players. And these guys all, nobody cares who they play with. They really don't.
Left side, standing.
Paul, this is often a league where we'll hear GMs or people that build teams say we want to get younger, we want to get faster. Do you have any thoughts on why, when it gets to these biggest games, some of the older players are having their moment here?
They value it differently. I'll talk about one of the coaches on the Oilers staff. In my foolish youth, 99, around 2000, so about 25 years ago, I made Paul Coffey a healthy scratch for Game 1 of the Boston series. And he handled it great. Said, I don't agree with it, but I understand it. Went back, and I think he rode the bike for about 3 hours. And he was a really strong fitness man. He was a very fit man. And then he went into Game 2, and he was maybe our best player, but one of the best players on the ice. And I always remembered that as these older players view the playoffs differently. They understand. The other story would be Gary Roberts winning the Stanley Cup in his first year, and he said, I was pretty sure we were going to win the next 10, right? like how hard it is to get there. So the older guys have a perspective that young players don't. Young players can be great, but I think you can almost be assured that you're going to get the very best out of your older players in playoffs.
Right side, back row.
Paul, is this the first playoff run you've had, no black aces, and what is the excitement level around this organization when you've got both your AHL team winning the way they are and what you
I'm
guys
so
are
happy for Jordy Kinnear and his staff. They do an incredible job, but he and his staff have spent 2 months here the last 2 years as Black Aces. Now we rotate coaches in and out so they can see their families, but just imagine that. The American Hockey League life and travel is very, very difficult. And then your season ends, and then you have to, now it's not so bad they get to spend 2 months in Florida, but you add 2 months onto your year for 2 years in a row where you just work in small groups for 2 months. That's an awful lot to ask of those men, and they do it willingly. I'm really happy that they get there. It's exciting for them as it is for us right now, and they've earned it.
Left side, second row.
Paul, it feels like forever ago now, but your first playoff run here in Florida, Sergei wasn't your starting goalie. To see him over the last 2 years really revitalize his career and become this excellent playoff goalie, just how happy does that make you? Just as a person on a personal level.
If I thought I could take some credit for it, I'd feel really good about it. But what it is it's just kind of a faith builder when you look at people that do all the right things and put so much focus and attention into being great, into, there was the character, the arduous pursuit of excellence without the guarantee of reward. He never wavered from the start of training camp. He just did his thing and he worked hard at it. And I'm sure there were times where he had to believe in himself very, very deeply to stay the course and come in and be such and it was also a great payoff for him for all that work, just from a personal level. I mean, I'm serious when I say I don't know anything about goaltending. I don't really have an interest in learning about it. I like the man. He's incredibly interesting, but that's all him.
Stay in that same row.
Paul, Sam was saying when he was up here.
Which one? Sorry.
Right here. Ethan Skolnick.
Oh, I got lots of Sams.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I thought you were asking me. Bennett, when he was up. Bennett, when he was up here earlier, he was saying every man in that room respects Paul Maurice. How did you earn that?
Well, it's a very kind thing for him to say. If you walk into a room and you just tell the truth, whether they want to hear it or not, but it's the truth, and over time, you could look back and say, what that person told me was the truth. You'll have respect for that, I think. So I work hard at trying to find the truth every day, and then just telling it as simply as I can, with the occasional joke slipped in. Most times, I'm the only one that thinks it's funny.
Right side, front row.
Paul, right here. When the trade deadline was happening and you're having discussions about potentially adding Brad Marchand and the list of things that he will bring, now that he's here, you're deep into the playoffs, is there anything that wasn't on that list that he's brought that is an added bonus?
All of it. The list for me was penalty killers. That was a 2:30 suggestion that we did. I didn't see it coming. I just happened to walk in. I think I was taken off. Like it was over. And I thought that because of his work with Patrice Bergeron, he had been injured before the trade. We knew he was a really good player. I didn't know any. You hear about the reputation as a player, but I didn't know that how much he's awesome. Like he is funny to be around. Just sit off at 5 or 10 feet and you walk away with a smile every day. He's just in such a good mood every day. Loves the game. Loves his teammates. Such a smart player. Creative hands. But it was the penalty killing that I thought for sure we're getting. Right? Where I fit him, I don't know. Who he plays with, I don't know. But I know that guy's an elite penalty killer, and he and Anton Lundell have been a great pair for us.
We'll take a few more. Left side, front row.
Paul, it's Father's Day coming up here, and I'm just curious. You get it both ways as a son and as a father. I'm just curious. So take the answer however you want, but I'm curious your father's impact on your career, and well, take it from there, I guess, if you want.
Oh, for all of us. He's the man that got me into the game, taught me how to skate. My mom actually did too. I don't think either one of them are bragging about it based on the way I skated. Father was a very, very positive man. Not necessarily, he was strict. I had a fairly strict upbringing and in a really positive way, but in all things, especially in kind of life's challenges, and I, like all of us, I'm sure, learned to appreciate my father's wisdom as I got older. Like Jake over there, I wouldn't have told him to wear jeans today, but I see most of you guys are wearing jeans, so I'm wrong. Just roast my kid. My dad would embarrass me in public. The best part of my career, by far, is that my dad turns 87 this year. My mom's 85, and they watch hockey every night. They got something to do every single night, and so that's one. And two is my son may have a greater love for the game that I do, and now I get to share that with him. So that's a spectrum of 60 years between the two, my father and my son, and I get to have a phone call with both of them and share the game, and that's what I value about this game by far more than anything else.
Right side, second row.
Paul, you mentioned you mentioned Anton Lundell, and I know you said the other night about Bill Zito drafting him and telling you, be patient, you know, this kid's got it. What have you seen over these last couple of years? How have you just watched him develop into the player that he is now?
That's just a great reminder of how much growth happens between the ages of, and I'll say 19, but in those first 3 or 4 years, how much they can change. Now, not off their core. Like his foundation is a version of Barkov. He doesn't cheat the game. He stays on the right side of it. But there's a enticement to young players to produce offense. There's a big one in all sports, and almost at potentially the detriment of the team. To Anton's credit, so he joins this team when it's just arcing up into hitting its prime, and there's lots of places for offense and everybody's scoring. You go back 3 years ago, I don't know what the number is, but they led the league by a bunch. But he never ever continued that path. He was more than willing to grind, and then he's just gotten better each year. I don't look at, or I don't speak to Anton, or I was kind of more patient and gentler maybe early on. Not that I have to be hard on him, but I don't view him when I'm talking to him any different than I view Sasha or Sam or Thomas. All of them, the same set of rules for all of you. You would give young players maybe a little bit more room when they failed to complete their task, or you just have a different tone with them, understanding. But this guy is getting it. He's getting to that point, kind of to Ryan's question about how do you spread it out. He's allowed Sam Bennett's numbers to stay under control and Barkov's numbers to stay under control because he can take that shift.
2 more, right side, third row.
Paul, when this team acquired Matthew Tkachuk, it also traded Mackenzie Weegar. That opens the door for Gustav Forsling to move up a little bit. You put him right with Aaron Ekblad. Why did you do that, and what have you thought about the trajectory, or why has Gustav had the trajectory that he's had to become the defenseman that he's become?
Well, the smallest and easiest answer to the first part of your question goes back to kind of an experience I had when I first went into Winnipeg. They had an analytics challenge there of the top players scoring against them. They had a very high rate of the top players scoring against them. So the first thing we said is, who's the best check and center we got? It was Brian Little at the time. And the best, we had Michael Frolik, who was playing on the third line, and the other one was Andrew Ladd, who was playing in the 2-hole. So we put them all, that's their job, play against the other team's best. So it was a bit of where Florida needed to take the next step at the time was in some of its defensive game. So it was clearly, we felt that Aaron Ekblad was the number one guy on the right side, and Gustav Forsling, who hadn't played with him. I think Gus had played with Radko Gudas most of the year. So we just put that as a priority that that Barkov and those two guys will have to play against it, and he's built for that. So that's the small answer. The investment that this guy's made into his body over time, his challenge getting into the league is just, he just developed late physically, to put the mass on, to get to the speed that he could. But you go into our fitness room, we celebrate the guy who won the fitness award this year, but he's got 3 more name tags in a row right on the other side. We keep the history of the players that have, and so he's paid for that, and he's built for it.
Last one, right side, fourth row.
Hi, Coach. Sam Bennett was just talking about how it's been, you guys keep things light and fun at practice, and it's been an evolution over the last 3 years to keep it that way. But how do you, one, make sure it stays fun and light, and how do you find that balance of keeping things fresh like that and also serious? You're in, the Stanley Cup final.
If you believe that you've worked as hard as you can, then there's nothing left to do. Why would you be in a bad mood then over a great mood if you've done your work? So in my relationship with these players, I think I said this the other day, we were talking to the coach, when was the last time we added a drill or a skate to practice? And I haven't done it in 3 years. But I've spent the last year we got into these, last year relative to this year, we had actually a great schedule. We only played 9 sets of back-to-backs last year. So we had a bunch of these 2 days of practice and then a game. And we get into practice and we're going. Like you get off the ice and you're thinking, and we got roasted in each one of the next games. So now all I do is as soon as I think I get them to the threshold they're going, I shut practice off. So I'm in the situation where we pull drills off practice. So then you get to have a good time. And this game is I spent a lot of years in this league kind of grinding and spitting nails every single day. It's too hard to do. You got to be able to find places that you can laugh a little bit and enjoy it. Once you know everybody's going to work their butt off, then it's easy to do.
Thanks a lot, Paul.
Okay, guys.